I guess I'll start with a little update. I decided to do some wrenching instead of filming and see if I can get some stuff done. Anyway, I think the last we left off was the rack on the back, and then we had a bunch of fenders and stuff just kind of sitting on it. So I took and heated this side up and kind of kicked them out, and then split it, and then added a section in between, and I'm going to take them off and finish welding them. And there's a standoff. I took a piece of brass octagon stock there, and took it on the lathe, cut it down, and made the size I want. And I wanted it to be square off the back tire. So that's what we're looking at. And the other side's just a stock setup. And I heated up the fender to get it to wrap around a little bit better, so now it kind of fits in the center down in there. And I just got 2 pair of vice grips holding it right now, but that lines up to the factory hole, so that'll bolt the fender back on, no problem. Alright, we're already looking at it. Rear rack. This was a garden hoe with no handle. You know, it had 5 fingers that were like this, and you just kind of dig up the earth. I heated them up, curled them back out, and straightened them out, and took what was left of the wooden handle out, and I just have it tacked underneath there. And as of right now, that is going to be my rear rack. I may heat them up, kick them a little bit, and do what I want, but for now it's just kind of claiming the spot, and then go further from there. This will be permanently mounted, but if you loosen up these screws, they already are loose. You could take these blades out and do what you want with them. And what else? We got the front band is on and installed. That's that piece of brass that I cut out of the pipe and flattened and glued to the leather. And we just kind of wrapped it around, drilled a couple of holes and bolted it. And now it kind of holds its shape right around the wheel, and then up and then to the lever. Excuse me. And you pull the front brakes and they lock up. And it actually feels pretty good. I have a feeling after they get used a little bit, this is kind of like a groove in here. It's not flat across. So I think as that the leather kind of wears into that groove a little bit, I think it'll be superb. I have rear brakes too. I got coaster brakes on the back. Before I forget, someone was talking about weight, things gonna weigh a ton, etc. It's actually not that bad. It's I just took the scale out. It's 62 pounds in the back and 60 in the front, so I'm at 122. I'm thinking 140. That's fine. How much is a moped? Gotta be around there. So everything else that's going on right now is fairly light. The fender's light that's on the front. Probably the most weight that's going to be is maybe some gussets in the rear frame section, kind of stiffening that up. Even with that, that's maybe a pound or 2 of metal. Oh, so where am I going now? Rear seat. All right, I told you I was going to wait for a while to go and carve it, and didn't want to take too much of it away until I had the other pieces together. So that's kind of why it stayed looking like it did the whole time. And I just kind of took another seat and just kind of traced the pattern over it with some soapstone to get an idea what a stock seat kind of feels like. And now I'm kind of trying to picture in my head, how do I want to bend the metals on the side? I'm going to leave the ass end going tall around, kind of like a farm tractor seat. But I think I want to roll. I think I want to come out further and roll this edge down, probably up to about there, so that when you're pedaling, there's nothing in your way. You know, you need a little bit better shot. This is where it pinches you right now. And I figure I'll come right up to the top. I'll slice across, leave the top there. We'll lose that bottom rivet. And actually, maybe I'll leave it there for now. Maybe I'll have the line come up to here, see how I like it. And then after that, I can cut down more. But I'm going to cut this flush, and I'm probably going to stick a coin right in the back of it, right in the top of that hole. We all cut up? We might be. Oh, the air cleaner's on it too. And I was just putting the stock air cleaner back on it, but I had to make a spacer between the two, which is just a piece of pipe. Turned down on the lathe, got us so both flanges were flat, and just used longer screws on it. Had to just kind of kick it out enough to clear the frame right there. Oh, And the center of the motor I took, and I talked about, this is the original fan that was down here that I actually cut the center out of and made this pulley a long time ago. And the idea of this was, if I needed the capacity to run a fan up here to cool something, that's what that is going to be accessible for. And I don't know if I am or not, or if I get it too lean, too rich, try increasing the two-stroke oil, and just kind of see how it'll run when you actually kind of riding it around instead of sitting still. So anyway, this is the original fan that was here when it was a generator, and it used to pump air across the motor and across the fins. I took it and sliced it in half, and they're actually on a diagonal, and then the opposite diagonal is on the other side. Let's put it together, it's kind of even hard to see. So, and then I brought it over to the mill, and then it had 4 spokes in the center of it. That's a spoke right there. And I took each half, kind of set it up, and just kind of milled it to the thickness of what the thickness is in between the fins. And then it's just right now it's a press fit. I actually used a rubber mallet and just kind of tapped the 2 pieces back together, and they're keyed back to each other. I can move it up or down the fins wherever I want. I could always weld it in the future. I don't even think I'll need to do that. I think what I'm just going to do is just between the 2 fins, I'm just going to take a bunch of copper wire and like airplane safety wire it together in the back and the front side, and then it just can't come apart. But it's like I'll have to take it apart with a mallet to get it back out of there. Any tighter, I'd be worried about cracking a fin. But it's in there pretty snug, and I figure when you be riding, air can kind of shoot in and shoot out, and no matter what direction the air is kind of flowing, it's going to kind of move, catch it when you're riding. And the mass of this is just a big heat sink in itself, so it's going to try drawing a lot of heat away from the cylinder head, just because it's got more aluminum to dissipate it to, and then of course out to the air. So that's my thought anyway, and that's what I'm going with. I know it looks a little goofy, but that's all right. Not like I'm like anything else is goofy on the bike, right? So I think that should function pretty good. And worst case, I'm also thinking that I think I talked about it on the other one, I could actually use this for a mount for a fan if I actually had to. If I had to actually have a blade go around, there's a plug insert. I'll lower the plug and I'll stick something up above it that a fan can mount to and blow down. But I don't think we're going to need to do that, but I left the capacity to do it in there just in case. All right, so let me get to trimming away on this seat and see what it's like to kind of heat this edge up and try to get this stuff to roll. All right, I just cut the front sides off. I didn't bother doing this part of it yet because I want to, that doesn't affect what I have to go do up here anyway, so I want to do this first and then revisit that. So that's kind of the shape we're going for, and then you figure you're going to knock off at least a ½ inch all the way around that I'm going to roll in the down position. So I need to go figure out how I'm going to go do that. I don't know if it's going to be heat or cold. I'm going to just do a little bit of practicing. I rolled the front of it. I think I did it cold, but it's a shovel, so it really doesn't kind of want to bend very easy. If not, we're just going to go apply heat and bend accordingly. All right, well, that's it all trimmed up and wire wheeled and kind of in its position that I think it's going to stay. Again, tilt it and move it forward, move it back, that kind of thing. But I like the shape of it. I can reach the pedals really good. I like the patina that's on it. Whether I leave it raw or if I paint it, and it's going to have kind of like a leathery kind of texture to it. And what I plan on doing, whether I do it or not, who knows, but as of right now, I'm thinking of taking a piece of thin leather. I'm going to wrap it around the edges. I want to say, I don't know, 1/4 inch, ½ inch, something like that. And I'm going to wrap it all the way around the ends, and I'm going to drill little holes through it, and I'm going to tie it with copper wire on the edge, just to soften the edge up wherever you touch it. And I may do something in the center too, but again, getting too far ahead. I took the coin I talked about putting it in the center, and I just put some glue on it, let it center up in there, and we're going to see how we like that. And what I'll probably will do, the wood is still underneath there, I'll probably drill 2 little tiny screws, brass screws in it, and sink it down on each side, because some kid's going to try picking it off. So, and the rack, I don't know, I got to grow on that a little bit. I got to think about it and kind of go from there. I like it. I think I wish the tongs were a little bit longer, so I may try doing something to help that. You know, if you really want it as a rack, it would probably be another 2 or 3 inches back, or at least the centers out farther. But then again, it may be just fine the way it is. Who knows? So I am wrapping it up for tonight. I think I got some pretty good progress done. The seat, the rack, the rear fender, air cleaner, this guy, and the front pulley, front brake strap is all hooked up with all its pulleys in its correct locations. And I'll switch these out to the, when I take it apart, I'll switch them out to the other metal ones. I also cut that thing down, like I said, and I sucked it in further so the line was not so jaded going up. And I'm still going to do some tweaking on that, but that looks pretty good. I like the seat from the front, and it really looks good. Now it resembles a regular seat, but if you look close at it, you know, you're kind of like, what is that made from? And then some people will guess and some people won't. So same with the rack. I don't know, I think I might start working on some of the guards for the pulleys. I could do the chain guard, I could do those 2 guards. Carburetor, I'm still kind of playing with some stuff. It's 1 or 2 carburetors are going to go on there one way or another. They both are going to reside in that same place, so that seems to be fine. I just have to make a different manifold up on those. But I'll get that when I get the bike back together again and running, and debug that part of it. I mean, it runs, it rides. It's the biggest thing is yeah, to try to get it to nice putter idle. Whether I'm able to do that or not, oh well. You know, sometimes I just fire it up and have to keep it running and keep it riding like the early bikes were. But I think I'll get that. I like the lines of it. I have a set of white tires for it. Whether I use them or not, I'm not sure. But I do have a set of another set of like old style, so completely white, not just a white wall. And then the frame colors and all that kind of thing. It's probably going to be a mix of the metals, and then I'll, you know, paint out the frame, the gas tank, and probably some of the front end. And I think I'm lighter colors right now. I'm kind of thinking almost like an antique white and a bright white, or something like that, or an antique white and something else, or along that line. Or like a antique white and maybe even a little darker white, like a coffee cream kind of. So we'll see. It's too far away yet. All right, guys. Again, thanks everybody for watching, commenting, subscribing, and take care.